Hello all and welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be showing you the latest enhancements here at FormAssembly, how you can unleash advanced automation, document generation, and our latest CRM integrations. I'm joined with by several of my colleagues that cannot wait to show you some of our most recent product updates. And I'm so glad you're here to see them. If you joined us for FormAssembly's user conference earlier in April, some of this will be just, you'll have heard about these features, but today we're going to take a deep dive into some of the really cool stuff that we released just this year, give you an idea of the power of our new HubSpot integration, how awesome our new document generation tools are, what our redesigned Salesforce integration can do for you, your forms, and your workflows. And then I really am looking forward to a sneak peek that we're going to offer you of some upcoming releases at the end of today's presentation. So make sure you stick around for that. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping notes. If you've joined me on a webinar before, then you definitely are familiar with the platform and you're familiar with the spiel that I'm going to give you. First and foremost, I want to assure you that today's presentation is recorded and you will be receiving the recording just because you registered. So look for an email from my team sometime in the next 24 hours. Usually we get it out by early afternoon the following day. We'll have this full recording and you'll be able to rewatch the sections that you'd like to rewatch, or if you need to drop early, you can catch the end, or better yet, if you've got someone at your organization that you'd like to send this to, feel free to send them that link. We will have a live Q&A at the end of today's presentation as well, and during the presentation, the Q&A module that you see on the left side of your screen is actually going to be the best way to get in contact with me if you have questions. If you're having trouble with the platform, can't hear anything, etc., the best thing to do is actually to close out the module and come back in, but you're probably hearing me because I haven't gotten any of those questions yet, so hopefully you're not seeing any of those problems. Feel free to store some cute questions for our presenters during today's presentation, though. We'll answer those live before we leave today. Last but not least, I've got a lot of resources for you. We've got links to help documentation for all of the features that you're going to see today that are released. Feel free to follow those links. They should open in new tabs. We're also hosting a webinar tomorrow specifically for our friends in higher education. So if you work for a university or a college, tomorrow's panel discussion is going to center on, data collection challenges in the higher ed space. We're going to hear from some of our friends down at University of Florida. I encourage you to attend. You'll see me there as well. But enough with what's going on in the future. Today, I am joined by my colleagues, Paul, Tom, and Liz, and they've got some really cool things to show you a little bit later today. Gang, I'm going to bring you on screen if you want to say hi to our audience.
Yeah, hello everybody. It's nice to meet you, Paul Lazatin, is how you pronounce my last name. I know many of you, and for the people that I don't know, I hope that I add something of value to your day. And I'll pass it on to Liz.
Hey y'all, nice to see you. I am looking forward to talking through eSig.
Yeah, and likewise, thanks everyone for taking the time to join us. Looking forward to showing these features.
Fantastic. Good to see you all. I guess I saw you a little bit before as well. I did notice that one of the first questions was I didn't introduce myself. I'm so sorry. My name is Josh Straley. I'm one of the product marketing managers here. And you will be hearing a little bit more from me today than you normally would because I have more to say. So I'm going to take my friends off screen for the next couple of moments. What I'd love to do is walk you through what you're going to see today. First, I'm going to talk to you about the updates that FormAssembly has put out into the marketplace just in the first quarter of this year. If you have not been paying attention to the emails that I send you, or if you didn't get a chance to join our user conference earlier this year, we have been doing a lot, some significant changes to our product, to the features that are available to you. I'm going to make sure you understand what we've put out and where it's available to you and how you can get started using it. And then we're going to get into the demos that I'm sure you're here to see. We're going to dive into a demonstration of our HubSpot connector. You're going to see how you can use it to sync any of your forms to your HubSpot CRM. Really exciting stuff. Can't wait to show you that. We're also going to dive into our our updates to workflow. So you're going to see how you can use Workflow's new document generation tools to seamlessly generate documents as a part of your workflows. And we're also going to be showing you how you can take those documents and send them to storage platforms. Specifically today, we're going to be doing that with Salesforce, which I know many of you already use as your CRM of choice. We're going to be debuting how our new redesigned Salesforce connector for workflow allows you to take control of your CRM data like never before, and yes, send documents seamlessly to Salesforce, as well as, of course, Box and Dropbox, the other storage platforms we support. And then last but not least, we're going to give you a sneak peek of the upcoming changes to esignature. Esignature is coming to workflow in a major way this year, and we're going to show you a sneak peek of how that feature is going to work. I think you can tell I'm excited. I know you're going to be excited by what you see too. The functionality is fantastic. So with that taste, that amuse-bouche of what we're going to show you today, I have a question for you, the audience. Which of these demonstrations are you most excited for? You can click the answer that best fits your excitement level, or what you're excited for, not your excitement level. My excitement is powered by caffeine, by the way. So if you have a demo that you're most excited for, please click that answer on your screen. We'll get a sense of what's gassing you up today, and then we'll see the results. If I had to guess, just knowing how many of our customers use Salesforce and our Salesforce integration day-to-day here at FormAssembly, I bet you're looking forward to seeing that, but I'm excited to see what your answer is. All right, we've got more than half of you having answered. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. We'll take a look at the results. Ooh, I was right. I'm not a good gambling man. I'm not great at casinos, but I should have taken a bet on that one. Fantastic. Well, you're going to see all of these, so stick around for the Salesforce connector. It's the 63% of you, but I think you're going to see a lot to excite you today. So let's talk about these new features before we dive into the demonstrations. The first thing we put out this year back in March was our new advanced document generation. This brought a level of streamlining to document generation processes that we had not seen yet here at FormAssembly. Now you can use your workflows to upload customized document templates. So you can design the templates how Word, changing text colors, adding in the fields that you need to be filled by form data. You have full control over that. You can upload those to your workflows, and then every time your workflow criteria is met, those documents are seamlessly generated. It is a fantastic feature. It is available now. We put it out in March, and it's included in our team and enterprise plans. Many of you may have already started using it. If you haven't, and you're on a team or enterprise plan, any plan that has workflow actually, you can jump over into workflow and add a document generation step to the workflows that you already have in process and start generating documents today. You do have set numbers of documents that are included in your plans, but you can always talk to your account manager if you need more to support your processes. There are document refills that give you thousands of documents that you can use, and there is an unlimited refill available for enterprise plans. So if you're interested, if you've got very document heavy processes at your organization, you can find the plan that meets your needs. Just reach out to your account manager. And there's a link in the resources center for you to reach out to our team if you want to talk about any of today's updates a little bit more. So I encourage you to use that. Also, this year, we're releasing our HubSpot connector. Many of you, as our poll shows, use FormAssembly to connect to your Salesforce CRM. But that's not the only CRM that's out there. And indeed, it's not the only CRM that our customers use. We are excited to bring all of the CRM use cases that you already have in practice with Salesforce to the HubSpot ecosystem. HubSpot's one of the world's fastest growing CRMs. We know a lot of our users are already using it. We wanted to give them a natively built connector that is secure and seamlessly works with workflow to allow them to take FormAssembly forms and bring it into the HubSpot ecosystem. We know that the HubSpot ecosystem has some limitations when it comes to form providers. We know that there isn't ways to collect, complex or sophisticated data. That's what people use FormAssembly forms for. Now we're bringing that to HubSpot, and it's amazing. I can't can't wait for Paul to show you this integration. It works just how you'd want it to. It integrates with all of HubSpot's standard CRM objects and custom objects, so we can support any of the CRM use cases that you have already. We have early access for this connector available now. Reach out to your account manager if you want to give this a try before it's officially available. Again, this will only be available in workflow, so you would need to be on a team or above plan. But if you are, please reach out. And if you're not on a plan that supports workflow and you have HubSpot as your CRM, reach out to your account manager anyway and talk to them about what upgrading would look like. Not last, and certainly not least, we redesigned our Salesforce connector. The connector that probably brought you to FormAssembly is better than ever. Not only is it redesigned for workflow, so it works with workflows natively, but it also includes improved user experience, user interface, a rebuilt query builder, and just tools that are going to make the most sophisticated workflows that you have even easier to administrate. And what I mean by that is we're giving you control like never before. You have you have dependencies, you have preconditions. You are the gatekeeper when it comes to your Salesforce CRM with FormAssembly's integration. What we've been able to support. I know many of you use dependent pick lists. Many of you use field validation and conditional rules to control submissions. Our new connector is going to allow you to do that and much more. We can't wait to show it to you. Tom's got a great demo today that'll show you how that weaves in with document generation as well to support all of your processes. This is available inside of your account already. If you were already using Salesforce and you were using workflows, the next time you add a connector step, you can add this new redesigned connector today. If not, if you are using Salesforce, but you're on an Essentials plan and you're only using our connector at the form level, I would really encourage you to sign up for a personalized demo and get a sense of what you can do with this new integration. Again, use the link in the resources center for that, but stick around for today's demo because you're going to see what we can do with it. But if you want something personalized, do reach out to our team. That is, again, not the last new feature that you're going to see today, but you're going to have to stick around through our demos to see eSignature. So that's enough talking from me. I'm going to turn things over to my friend Paul. Paul is going to show you our HubSpot connector and how it works with FormAssembly workflow. Paul, take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, Josh. I really appreciate it. Let's make sure that the screen transition goes okay. And away we go. Okay, so perfect. All right, I see the transition went okay. I am, just like Josh, really excited to share our HubSpot connector and really just want to thank the teams for what they've worked so hard to build. And I too am also powered by caffeine. It's a very good thing. And so where I want to start off with is showing you a form example and then showing you how we're going to set this up in FormAssembly workflows with the intention of sharing how we can collect that data and then disseminate that information to the groups that need it the way that we want it to and when we want it to, much like the experience that you're used to with our Salesforce and other connectors that everyone's been using for a while. So I will go ahead and start with this lightweight request a quote form. And what we're doing here is just collecting a few key fields. You're looking at first name, last name, email. It is important because we want to act on somebody that requests a quote fairly quickly. What you'll also see here is an option to upload files and requirements documents, and you can attach those to any records. And the other thing that you're showing here, or that I'm showing here, is a couple of checkboxes illustrating if I want to conditionally send data to other applications, in this case, Google Sheets, all in this one workflow. Additionally, I want to share that we do support multiple page forms, which are excellent for the user experience when we're running into those lengthier, more complex use cases that Josh was alluding to earlier. Not every form is going to be 3 fields. A lot of our customers use us for 5, 6, 7 page forms, and we want to make sure that we're powering or empowering you with the same feature set and benefits that you've seen in using our connectors before. So what I'm going to do now is transition over to how we set this up on the back end. Make sure that this transitioned okay, and we are looking good. All right, so what you're looking at here is our workflow processing engine, or our workflow builder. Many of you have seen this already, so it's not going to be too new. But for those of you that haven't seen it, essentially what we're giving you the power to do is link forms, emails, multi-step processes all in one place. So that way, the form's not just an ingestion point. We can collect that data and disseminate it the way that we want to. So for HubSpot, here's the way that we set this up. The first part is going to be a prefill connector. And we all know, or we all might not know, but forgive me for talking at you, but for known visitors, prefilling is great because we can prefill these fields automatically from HubSpot for a faster and more personal experience, which equates to less friction and really higher conversion rates for these known visitors. And the way that we set it up is I want to stress that you can set the prefill rules your way, which is really a theme that I'm going to be talking to as I go through this demonstration. We can do a couple of things when we are working with records. We can create, update, or look up a record similar to our Salesforce connector. HubSpot, we can do this as well. And again, we can upload files. In this case, I'm just defining the parameters of what we want to do. And then I'm just saying, how do I want to do the lookup query? And then what actions do I want to take if no records are found, if multiple records are found? What do we want to do with this data? And then simply, I'm going to map the data from HubSpot to FormAssembly once we make that call into the HubSpot CRM. And again, mapping is very simple, very something that we've all seen before. Where we just take the fields from HubSpot and then denote where we want to send that information or map it to in the FormAssembly form. So I'll move on down to our next step in this workflow, which is our request a quote form. That's the form we were just taking a look at. All right. So now what do we want to do? If somebody submits that form, this step is saying, I want to redirect the respondent once they've hit that submit button. We can redirect to another website, but I can also customize this message because they're requesting a quote. I went ahead and put in, thank you. We value the opportunity to earn your business, much like we value your time today. And then a next step, we will be in contact shortly. We've received your form submission and we are going to send it to people to act on it to help you and add value. The next step in our flow here is the actual submit portion for HubSpot. And what I want to stress here is what we're looking at is a lead form, but we've supported millions of responses for student applications, new customer applications, customer onboarding, new patient onboarding, donor management. The use cases are many, and we've done millions of responses over hundreds of use cases. And I really also want to stress that our platform offers unlimited forms and responses. You're never going to hit a hard cap. If you are a customer of ours, build as many forms as you want and collect all the responses you want. We're never going to penalize you for having a successful form that has 1 billion responses. And configuration is going to be very similar. In this case, in my exchanging data with HubSpot step, I want to update the contact record. Very similar to the prefill connector, I'm going to define the parameters of what we want to do, how we want to look up that record, and then this time we're mapping the data from FormAssembly to HubSpot. So I'll go ahead and close this out. Alluding to some of the complexity that we can enjoy when we're leveraging FormAssembly's workflow engine, I've added in a conditional step. Do we want to send this to other applications? We can have tons of branches depending on how your respondents have already filled out either previous steps in this workflow or the initial form that we first started. So in this case, we're just saying, do we want to send it to other applications? And I really want to stress this point. The takeaway here is what's powerful is that we're not just capturing the information, we're moving it through multiple processes. And the form becomes the first step in a full customer journey, not just a data collection or ingestion point. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of this. We're going to assume that we're saying yes for the Google Sheets connector. And in this case, I'm sending it to HubSpot and Google Sheets at the same time, which we'll see here in a second. No retyping, no broken processes, and it's easy to expand later without rebuilding anything in the workflow. and all teams can act instantly with real-time information. Funny, I put a note for myself. Don't forget to show the other connectors, Paul. I'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and add a step, drop that down. And I'll leave this up a little bit just so you can get an idea of the number of different connectors that we offer, including but not limited to. If you have any questions, again, contact your account manager, contact me. We'll make sure you get taken care of. But again, I want to stress that we can ingest the data, send it to where you want to, the way that you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of this. Okay, and now let's go ahead and hop into what this looks like. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is transition over to my HubSpot instance. We are looking at Joey Harrington, possibly the greatest college quarterback of all time. And his email in here is changeme@gmail.com. You can obviously tell I'm an Oregon Duck. If you're from Ohio, please take it easy on me. So now I'm going to transition into pre-filling that form. Because Joey is a known contact in HubSpot, I can choose to pre-fill that form with the information that we have so he can act on it. And I'm going to go ahead and share that tab and refresh the page. Okay, we're looking good. We already know the visitor. We pre-filled Joey Harrington, changeme@gmail.com. Everything is good here. I do want to request a quote, but now my email is goducks@goducks.com. And yes, I do want to send that to Sheets. We'll go ahead and submit that. There's a second page there. If there was something on it, I'll go ahead and hit submit. And then now what I'm going to do, here's that thank you. We value the opportunity in your business. We'll be in contact shortly. I'll go over to contacts. And once I share this tab, what you'll see here is that his contact record was automatically in real time updated with his most current contact information. Again, it's lightweight, but I want to highlight the speed and simplicity of how we did this. So behind the scenes, we captured the information, and now we're able to route the lead with no delays and no manual data entry in our CRM. And so what I want to share here is our sales dashboard. Okay. Again, it's feeding accurate response data and files quicker into HubSpot and other mission critical applications, improving contact management and segmentation, and in turn, improving that critical process of delivering better tailored messaging at scale. And then feeding the sales dashboards with leads that are prioritized automatically for your reps to act on. I know that Joey just came in here and changed his email and requested a quote. Probably want to call him first. And just wanted to share the dashboard here and kind of how it all rolls into your CRM system. So now that the leads are prioritized, additionally, we can push that data to other applications, in this case, Sheets, like we were just talking about. And I'm going to go and share that tab. Again, it's very lightweight, but it all happened at once. So here's his new email, first name, last name. And the takeaway here is this potentially allows teams outside of sales, like operations, like finance, to see real-time submissions without needing CRM access, so they can go ahead and act on it. Now I'm going to go back to the workflow. Okay. And I'll be wrapping up here. I just kind of want to show you the expanded view of this just so you can kind of see what it looks like. But what's powerful here is, again, we're not just capturing the information. We're moving it through multiple processes. The form becomes the first step in the customer journey, not just a data collection or simple ingestion point, no retyping, no broken processes, it's easy to expand. And then the last point that I want to make and share is that all teams can act instantly with real-time information. So in a couple of minutes, we've shown our HubSpot connector for how workflow works, began that customer journey, and not just one data capture point in time. Again, happy to answer further questions, and I will transition over to Tom so he can share all his exciting stuff with you. Thank you very much for the time.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let me see. One moment. Paul, you want to mute your mic? And let me see. Let me just get the screen share going. One second. Wait for that to throw. Cool. So I'm showing my whole screen here. So yeah, thank you again for taking the time to join us today. The new Salesforce connector, document generation, there's a lot to go into. I'm going to touch the top of the water at the moment of how powerful it can be, but hopefully it gives you a taste of what you can do and open up a lot more use cases. So we'll go through this swiftly, but at the same time showing you all the great features. So we're going to start with a workflow, as Paul showed you on his screen as well. Same thing, we have a workflow builder, and we're going to keep ours pretty straightforward. We have a form at the beginning. Once it's submitted, we will be going to a thank you page. We then have the new document generation step, which I'll talk through in a moment. We'll then have a Salesforce connector step and an email at the end. I'll quickly show the form that we have at the beginning. So I've got a simple form here that's someone submitting information for a project they're looking to do and how much it's going to cost. We can throw other things like conditionals into our workflow if it's over a certain amount. And that's actually what I'm doing on this form. I have a calculated field here that's hidden where I've simply set it to, if this is more than 10,000, say yes, if not, say no. And that's important because I'm going to have some conditional information on the document that I generate. So the documents will be dynamic. They don't have to always be the same every time. And for the document generation step, it's as simple as hitting the plus sign and adding the document step. And from here, you will upload your template. So you will need to prepare your template for the document that you're looking to merge the data from the form into. And you'll prepare that with something that we call tags. And the syntax for that would be double curly braces. So I'll show you what mine looks like. Here we have a simple document, but I need it to look this way. So this is something we couldn't do before. We need the document at the end to be a certain format. So now we can achieve that. So this is my document, and you can see here I've placed these double curly braces tags where I want my data to be inserted. So where we're basically merging the data to. So you can call it what you need following the syntax of no spaces, but here I have project name, request a start date, end date, and then I have the estimated cost. You also notice that I have here the word if. So in this tag, I can conditionally show anything between the if and the end if, which I've named approval not needed, just to make it more comprehensible. But this it will be, if I meet a certain criteria, show me anything between these. If not, don't show me. And I'll show you how that's set up in a moment. So once you have your template, you'll come to your document generation step, and you'll upload that template. It will automatically see the tags that you added. So you can see here, it found the project name, request, or start date, end date, and estimated cost. And I can now map the fields to that one-to-one. It doesn't have to be a field. You can also use formulas. So if we had any formulas in here, if we wanted to do maybe today's date, we could do local today. But I'm just simply using the field form of the project name. Then we also found the tag that involved the word if. So this is the conditional content. It was able to notice what that was. And now it's asking me what criteria needs to be met in order to show the content in those tags. So for mine, I'm looking at that field that I showed you on the builder, the over 10,000. If that says no, then I want to show it. And that's because if it's less than 10,000, it's going to be automatically approved in this use case. And that's it. That's all you need to do for the document generation. And that information will be merged with it. After that's been made, this is the new Salesforce connector. So the same way you'd add the step, you'll come to connector and choose Salesforce. The great thing is it's now all in the same window. You don't need to have another pop-up that could get lost if you've got loads of things open. And it makes things a lot more simple when you're creating the steps, because now you can do small things like renaming. So now you know what the step's actually doing. Josh mentioned we have the introduction of preconditions and dependencies. So I could set a precondition of, if the field is empty, don't do this, because you're not going to be able to successfully create the record without that information. Maybe you're going to have dependencies, which I'm actually using in this example, because I can say that this step here is dependent on the one above it. So you can see here I have a dependency of the create project proposal record step. And that's because when I make this record in the first one, I need that to happen first, and then I want to do this bottom part. You can see in this create record step that it's simple as either choosing the options that you want to do. So I'm going to create a record, and then I choose the object type. I then do my mappings. And then we have something called return variables now. So this is one of the most powerful things that comes from the new Salesforce connector. We can now return information from lookups on records to use later on in the flow or in the next steps. So things previously, like when you're looking up a contact, you could only return the account ID. You couldn't return the account name or the account owner. Well, now you could return that ID, store it in a variable, and then do a separate lookup, say, okay, look up an account with that variable to then give me the name and the owner. All within the workflow. You haven't needed to prefill hidden fields. You haven't needed to prefill the form itself. And so this is what really makes things powerful. In this example, we're going to create a record. And then for the return variable, I want to return the ID of that created record into the variable that I've named proposal ID. I can now refer to this proposal ID at any point during the workflow where needed. And that's exactly what I've done. In this second step, I'm actually uploading a file, and I need to note which record to attach it to. So the first published location ID will be the ID from above. The upload a file step is also a lot simpler. Previously, you had to choose content version or attachment, and there were a few field mappings that you needed to do in order for it to work. Even myself, I had to refer to our documentation every time. Well, now it's as simple as choose and upload a file from the dropdown, choose content version or attachment here, and then down here you can choose what file. So if there was a file upload on the form, I could choose that, but I don't have one. But I can choose the generated document from the previous step. Once I choose it, I set my mappings, and you're good to go. So I'll walk through how this looks now from the respondent side, and I'll show you here that I don't have any of these records in my Salesforce currently. And if I was to open this, so I'll fill in the form. I'll make it under the 10,000 limit, so then I can have that conditional content shown. I also have conditionals on my form as well, so if it was over, then it will mention it's going to this address. But for the demo, we're going to do that it's less. I choose my start date and end date and submit my request. In the workflow, it now says that I'll have my thank you page, which is what I've got. And then it will be generating the document, sending it to Salesforce, and it will also email me a copy. You can actually add these as an attachments to your emails as well. So if we come over to our Salesforce and refresh, we'll see that that record was successfully created with all the information that we inserted. If I go to the related attachments list, you can see there's a document there. I open it, and you see the document has been generated with all the information inserted. And coming down here, that conditional approved part was included. Had I gone over the 10,000 limit, that if conditional wouldn't have been met, and therefore it wouldn't have been automatically approved. If I go to my email as well, you'll see I've received my email with that attached to let me know. So hopefully that gives a quick overview. I understand it was pretty brief, but at the same time, it shows there's a lot more things you can do with the new Salesforce connector, and pairing that with document generation is a great thing. And so all we can do is really add more to that, and that's why I'm going to send this over to Liz to blow your minds even more.
Thanks, Tom. I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right. And I will be building right off of where Tom left off with the same project proposal scenario. So in this case, I want to demonstrate esignature, and usually sign up on things that need approvals. And so we'll conditionally set up this workflow here now that we've been oriented to the workflow builder for those who haven't seen it before, to where if I have the estimate of the project over 10,000, I'm actually incorporating our approval step in this because I see a really beautiful relationship in our product and the power between using our approver step and our e-signature step. To be clear, you don't need both, but depending on the robustness of your organization and what rules and policies and procedures are in place and what type of artifacts you need, they both work really well together. So I'd like to show a little bit of that. In this example, we will approve the budget, just a spoiler there. And when we do, we will generate that invoice. It'll be the same document that Tom did demonstrate here, configured with the same mappings. But what you'll see with eSignature is if the document does have signature tags being added, similar to what Tom walked through, you'll see same curly braces. This is where I need my signature to go. And if I have multiple signatures, I'll just denote that with unique tags to say the first signer here, the second signer here. And then I'll let you know, hey, the document that you're generating and merging all this data from or pre-filling all this data from, you can go ahead and map all of those fields put in that same conditional to go ahead and sign off on that. And then we'll have this new e-signature step. So I'm really excited about this. This has been discussed quite a bit about all of the different use cases that we can support by adding an extra signature step within our workflow. You'll be able to add a document here, map to a document that you generated previously, and configure your signers accordingly. So let me go ahead and take you through what that looks like. So in this example, Liz is requesting a project proposal, and I'm going to say everyone in the webinar gets a car because I think I'm Oprah Winfrey in this example, and it'll be $11,000 because they're going to be toy cars. And May 1st is when I'm looking for budget approval on that. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that request. Now with our approver steps, the person configured to approve that process will have this approvals task list that they can manage tasks that come in. So as the manager there, I can go ahead and see, okay, Liz wants to get everyone a car. It seems a little bit outside of budget, but I think we can do it. So everyone needs some new wheels, Hot Wheels in this case, and we'll go ahead and approve. Once we approve, I have that configured to be signed off on. And so I will get an email as the person doing that final sign off. Now it could be the same approver, but it could be that CEO, that head of finance, that somebody else that needs to sign off on that. That control is completely up to you and how you need to configure your workflow in these steps. So Tom has sent me a signature to be requested. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what I need to sign. This is the power of the signature piece. It should look really familiar, really comfortable. I have the ability to go ahead and sign off on this. There's multiple people. When I sign off on it, the next person can sign off on it until we get all our signatures that we need. So I'll go ahead. Liz signed off, completely approved, zero concern, and now the document is signed. As that person's signing off, I can then go ahead, as soon as I sign it, download that final document and take a look at what was signed. In addition to that, you can take the signed artifact from the e-signature step and attach that to an email, send that to another workflow native connector like what Tom demonstrated with Salesforce, with HubSpot, with SharePoint, or wherever you need to send these final signed documents. The power is completely up to you and what you want to configure. And then on the workflow side, if I actually want to go back and see those responses later, I can open the response of the one that I just looked at. I can see that the proposal kicked off with Liz wanting to get everybody a car with this specific budget. It's been approved, and then there'll be an actual signature step at the bottom with the details that you need here. And then you can go ahead and view or sign that document and be able to see that signed file. So that's just a sneak peek of signature. This is coming soon. I'm so excited to finally deliver this to all of our customers and see what you use with it. So watch out for all the stuff Josh emails. I know there's a lot, and then I'll hand it off to him so that we can get into the Q&A. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Liz. Always love seeing sneak peeks of what's coming down the pike. Really exciting stuff. I hope our audience enjoyed it as well. Before we get to our question and answers, and we have a ton of questions, I'd love to hear from the audience. I know a couple of you have already reached out, don't know who your account manager is, want to have a discussion about bringing advanced document generation to your account, want to talk about like upgrading the workflow. If you would like, I have a quick poll here. If you want someone to reach out to you, raise your hand here, click a yes. I'll make sure that someone gets an email to you this week and we can start those conversations. Again, there's also a link in our resources center. If you'd like to discuss upgrading, you can go and start scheduling time with the team. But if you'd like for me to have somebody reach out to you, I'd love to make that easy for you. Just give me a yes here. And if I close this poll too fast and you're looking to reach out to us, just email us or go to our website. If you check the resources center, we've got some contact links for you as well. Looks like the clickers have been clicking, so I'm going to go ahead and close this poll for now. Again, you You can reach out to us in so many different ways. If you don't know who your account manager is, just go to our website. We'll be able to get you that information as well. So let's dig into some questions. I'm going to, I've got my panel on the screen. Panelists, if you don't mind turning on your cameras, I'm going to bring you on. We're going to ask some questions. Let's see. Ooh, we got tons of e-signature questions. Let's cover one from, oh shoot, here we go. Getting even more questions. Forgive me, normally it doesn't scroll when I'm looking at them. Here we go. From Steven, will e-signature be an add-on feature? Will it be included with certain levels of subscription? Hey, that's a great question, Steven. Liz, do you want to handle that question, or would you like me to answer?
Yeah, I can't find the written one. Oh, I just found it. It'll be included in team and above plans, complementary with the document generation feature that just rolled out as well. Because it's workflow native, it'll need to be on workflow supported plans.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Here's a question. Oh, this is from Kevin. Great question, Kevin. Does a new signer of a document receive a verification email for the signature?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. So with the new signer of a document, they'll get an email when they need to sign it. They'll be able to download it. And you can also configure your workflow, especially if there's multiple signers, to send it to any of those signers at the end and have more control about the types of communications you need to do based on your level of compliance.
Great, thank you. Ooh, and one last question from eSignature, because we know that this is a, this is a sneak peek. We were still working on this. We'll get you the whole feature soon. Does eSignature need a specific document field or type for capturing the signature prior to this, or is this native in FormAssembly? A great question, Andrea.
I might need you to repeat the question. I'm trying to find them alongside.
No problem. I know, and then the questions keep rolling in. Does eSign need a specific field, a document field, or a type for capturing the signature, or is this native in FormAssembly? So I think they're asking, do you need to put in, a snippet to collect this?
Got it. Thanks, Josh. So with the e-signature step, you'll be able to choose a document generation step where you'll need that tag in that document, in that template you upload in the document generation step to put the signature somewhere because you need to associate it. You can also upload a file directly to the e-signature step when you'll get this. That's great for use cases of signing off on policies or procedures, but you don't need to pre-fill any dynamic content like asking for $11,000 for some Hot Wheels in my example. And so that'll be really the distinction of what you need to provide.
And just to be clear, we're not going to send Hot Wheels out after this webinar. Liz did not have approval from the company for sending that.
I just wanted to make you stress out, Josh. You're too good at this.
just kidding, gang. Well, I mean, if I could figure out how to ship Hot Wheels to you, I would. Let's grab some document generation questions. Tom, I might bring you back on. A couple questions were about other connectors, and I actually should be able to handle this first one. Our friend Elliot asks, can you send completed applications to SharePoint? Elliot, yes. You may have seen this on Paul's list of connectors. I wasn't looking too closely, but we do have a SharePoint connector, so you are able to send documents inside of Workflow to SharePoint, as well as Google Drive, Box, and Dropbox. We have connectors available for all of those very common storage platforms, but as Tom and Paul noted, you can also send files through our CRM connectors as well. So if you need to send a file, you can send it almost anywhere. You may need to reach out to your account manager if you don't have access to the SharePoint connector already. You may need to talk to them about pricing and bringing that to your account, but you can send those documents there as well. Oh, we had questions about, can you generate a document and send it for signature using Workflow? Well, me too. You can soon. That's exactly what Liz shown. But just to be very clear, that's not available today, but that will be coming soon. Keep an eye on your inbox. We will let you know when that feature is available. Let's grab another question. Tom might be able to answer this. Tom, Holden asks, how could I leverage workflow to prevent a respondent from continuing with a form if the Salesforce connector finds a matching record with the lookup?
Yeah, so that is doable now with the new variables. So what you could do in your workflow is first form, then move to your new Salesforce connector, do the lookup, save the ID of the found record to either a form field on the previous form, because now you can actually write back to previous form fields as well. And then you could set a dependent step and say if that form is blank, and you can have a conditional saying, okay, if that field is blank, meaning it didn't find the contact, continue. If it's not blank, we'll then show them this page saying, hey, you've already done this, please don't continue. So yeah, that's definitely doable in a workflow with the new Salesforce connector as well.
Okay, fantastic. And yes, the power of conditionals, has expanded essentially with this redesigned connector. Like the concept of conditionals has changed, where you have control over so many different variables with workflow now. It's really impressive stuff. And I continue every time I see a process that someone has built with this new connector, I'm impressed with the level of complexity that they can support with. I mean, really just some clicks. It's really fantastic stuff. This question from Christopher and Tom, I'd love to keep you on the hook for this one. They're asking when workflows with Salesforce prefill can be embedded using JavaScript embed method on a publishing page in workflows. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that our new ability to add a connector to the first step in a workflow allows them to prefill, and I believe it's a JavaScript template that's produced. Can you correct me or confirm?
Yeah, that's right. So now we do have the ability to add prefill to the beginning of the workflow, which will allow you to be able to use the workflows in the way that you do the forms currently. And in your publishing options for your workflow, there is, on the left-hand side, you have publish options. You do already have the JavaScript embed tag. So you'll be able to use that alongside the prefill of the workflow to kick off your journey. And that's something as well that's quite useful, is the fact that we can put these newer connectors at the beginning, so you can kick off your flow, not necessarily with a form, but with a connector first now.
Right. And, beyond Salesforce prefill, there's some other really unique use cases where you could have a Google Sheets connector at the beginning of your workflow and just kind of like log when people are entering your workflow. So if you're concerned that, you're seeing some drop off and you're trying to figure out, maybe like source that problem, you can monitor when people actually start, whether they complete the form or not. Some really interesting stuff, and a huge request from customers that we just rolled out earlier this month. I'm so glad that Christopher asked that. Let me grab a couple more questions before we leave today. Let's see. I'll take this one. Andrea asked, talking about upgrading, but they have some questions about updating or upgrading their version or their subscription to FormAssembly, et cetera. Andrea, no problem. Please still reach out to our sales team. If you clicked yes, I'd like to talk to someone during that poll, we'll have people reach out. They're there to answer your questions. Clicking on, requesting information about upgrading does not trigger you into purchasing a new subscription. You'll have a full conversation and control over that. We're here to make sure that your plan fits your needs. So if you see features or integrations that you need on this webinar, please just reach out to our team. They're going to find out what your requirements are. They're going to be able to provide you pricing information that's relevant to your plan, et cetera. So have no worry about reaching out. And again, if you said yes, you wanted someone to reach out, they'll be able to answer your questions as well. Let me see. Our friend Elliot again had another question. So we own the Salesforce connector, but when I went to generate a document, this connector did not show up. Is the document connector for Salesforce different than the regular Salesforce connector? Tom, could you explain, what they need to do to upload documents through that new Salesforce connector?
Yeah, sure. So in order to attach the document that's being generated in the document generation step, you will need to use the newer Salesforce connector. You won't be able to select that in the older connector. So if you already have the older Salesforce connector in your workflow, you'll want to add a new step and recreate your connector in the newer version. And from there, you'll have the option to choose the document that's generated to be able to send it over. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it absolutely does. And Elliot, I believe that might be the problem. As I mentioned earlier, if you have Salesforce connector already, we understand that you're likely using that connector in your workflows. The connectors that you've already built and configured were not impacted by this redesign. This redesigned connector is available today, as we mentioned. You can pull it in net new into your workflows, but the connectors that you already built will be, they'll continue functioning as normal, but they also won't have that updated UI that Tom showed, and they won't have some of the features of the redesigned connector. So when you're ready to take advantage of the new connectors features, you will need to pull a new connector step into that workflow, reconfigure that connector to meet your needs, and take advantage of those new features, and then you'll be able to do things like uploading documents through it. So I'm glad you asked that question, because that's important, where we didn't mess with your existing connectors, but the new one is available when you're ready for it. This question from Apurva asks, can we create a secured document? And I'm not entirely certain what they mean by that. Do we think, I might need some more information from you, Apurva, if you don't mind, letting me know what kind of a secured document you're looking for. Let's see. Alejandro asks, they missed the first half of the session. Like all new workflow abilities, they like the new workflow abilities, but will any of these be available in form connectors as well? Alejandro, I'm glad you asked that question. A lot of the work that we're doing is on our workflow platform, because that is where we see the future of data collection. It's beyond just a form. We believe that your data collection processes are more than just a single form step. So that's where you're going to see these new features. We are not planning on bringing these features back to those form level connectors, but our goal is to have you move your processes into workflow so that you can take advantage of these. Let's grab one more question. Apurva asked another question. What is the max document size that can be created? Tom, do you have that megabyte number off the top of your head?
Yeah, the size of the template, I believe, is 30 megabytes. So you can upload a template for the document to be generated with a maximum of 30 megabytes, but there's no page limit. We've seen examples of over 100 pages be done.
Okay, fantastic. There we go. And they also got back, they're looking for a document that requires a PIN so that not everyone can access the document. Currently, when you generate a document out of workflow, I don't believe we do not have that option to offer it as secured. That may be something that you would need to do through your PDF builder currently. I'm not sure. Does anybody on the panel know if we have that ability or if that's on the roadmap?
So currently we don't have the ability to generate pins associated with document generation steps. You can send it to a third-party system, and if you can add that level of security to access the documents uploaded there, I'd recommend you doing that. But we don't have a pin mechanism to access documents previously generated, no.
Okay. Thank you, Liz. Thanks for that. And I had several people chime in to explain what secured documents were. So apparently this is more common than I expected. Forgive me for my ignorance there. I think I've got time for one more question. Andrea asks, can you merge multiple PDF documents together and enrich them with the data? Before I hand this question off, Andrea, just a note, I'm glad you asked. Our document templates that you can bring into advanced document generation are limited to just docx or PowerPoint documents, .ppt documents currently. Now, that being said, my understanding is that you could create a docx or a PowerPoint that essentially is multiple documents and then fill that in and produce a single PDF, not necessarily needing to merge them. But Tom, would you have any additional guidance there for Andrea?
Yeah, so throughout the flow, you can merge the data into the first PDF. So let's say you have, at the end of the day, you wanted a 10-page document, 10 different people, and at the end you want it put together. You'd go through and get each person's information, and at the end, you'd have your 10-page document that can then merge all the information into it. So you can use information collected at any step in your workflow to then merge into the document at the end. Or if you needed individual ones that up until that point, you can have the first document created be page 1 with person details, page 2 for person 2, etc., and at the end combine them. So you're not necessarily combining the pages you've already created, but you're going to use the same data to put it onto the larger PDF at the end to give you the full document you're looking for.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Tom. And I want to quickly just thank all of our presenters today for the incredible demos that you provided. I really appreciate you coming onto our webinars and giving this audience a taste of what and some inspiration for what they could do with FormAssembly. I'll give you all a chance to say goodbye before I wrap up with some resources for the audience before we leave today. We'll take the waves. We'll take the waves. Thank you all again. Audience, I know that we had even more questions that I didn't get to. Forgive me for not being able to cover them all. I do want to encourage you, if you have any questions, some of you mentioned some support issues. If you have some questions that you need to get answered, please reach out to our support team. And if you have questions about any of the features that you saw today, bringing them to your plans, please reach out to our team. You can do that through our link in the Resources Center or just jumping onto our website and contacting us through there. We'd love to talk to you about your needs. Do not feel that you're entering suddenly a high pressure situation. We're here to help you collect data. We're here to empower your organization. So please, when you have questions, please do reach out. I'm sorry we can't cover all of the questions that we had today. I do want to mention the Resource Center has links to our helps documentation for all of the features that you saw today, and an application for early access eligibility for a HubSpot connector. We do need to make sure that your account works for this connector. Obviously, you need access for workflow because that's where you're going to be able to add the connector, but please use those links to jump over into our Resource Center and learn more about our features. Help.formassembly.com is always a great place if you have some questions at any time of day or night. And make sure to schedule some time with our team if you're looking to upgrade. I do want to make one note in promoting this webinar. I was hoping to show you form step authentication. I wasn't quite ready to demo that today. I know a couple of you asked questions about that. Please continue to come to our training webinars. We will continue to show you new features as they come out. So look for some information on that feature. I would say in the next month or so, I'll make sure to have that. And of course, a webinar for when eSignature is available to you. So again, Liz, thank you for that sneak peek. Coming soon, more to come from FormAssembly this year. We can't wait to give you more features. Audience, thank you as well. I thanked our panelists already, but I appreciate the time that you give us to show off these features, and I appreciate your questions. I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll see you at the next one. Goodbye.